course I have passion for my 49ers.
I am not going to back down on this one. Sometimes I go extra hard just to prove my point.
No, you don't get to have it both ways.
It's head-to-head. It's mano-y-mano. It is 49ers face-off. This is going to be absolutely exciting. I have, of course, Alex, who a lot of people know over here. And then, of course, you do not know, but you get to learn who he is today. JHill will be coming and bringing the argument to the conversation. This is going to be a lot of fun. Two different perspectives on 49ers football that get to come together and really get into this. I am the ref for this episode. I am Ant, and so I will be in control. And we're going to have topics that they're going to be going over. If somebody gets out of line and goes off topic or says something that's absolutely ridiculous, I will throw a flag on them. If you get a flag, your conversation is ended and your time goes to the other person. At any time, if your opponent contradicts themselves from an earlier argument, whether that is in this episode or a different episode, you can throw a challenge flag. If you throw the challenge flag, I will decide whether that is true, and if so, you will lose the rest of your time, and so you'll get to gain it and get the argument going. So those are kind of the rules of how it goes. We will end this episode with the drive, so these guys will be able to finish up with 1 minute, to prove their case, and whoever gets it will get the win. So this is going to be a lot of fun. 49ers football is exciting, and when you have two, contradictory opinions, it gets really exciting. So we did a coin toss. Off screen. Alex won the coin toss, has deferred, so Jason will be taking off with the first part of the argument, and the first topic has to be, we've gotten through the preseason game now. Trey Lance showed out. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't get that many reps. Trey Lance versus Jimmy Garoppolo. Who is starting Jason Hill?
Week 1, we're still starting Jimmy, folks. Trey, exciting. Trey, this, that 80-yard touchdown was sick. He looked terrible in the 2-minute.
Ooh, terrible.
Terrible. Did look like he couldn't get the plays off. Held on the ball a couple times, probably too long, and missed some open receivers as well. Yes, it was kind of, as far as what it was with Jimmy, it was a little more of a Alex Smith type check down day, but he still was accurate. He showed good poise, moved the ball efficiently. He looked like a true commander-in-chief, looked like the CEO of the offense. He starts week 1, folks. Get over it.
I agree with you that he starts week 1, but holy cow.
Yeah, he went Alex Smith on you.
He checked down? He checked down. Which check down are you referring to? Because I want to know what this check down is that he threw.
Did any of his passes go over 8 yards?
Oh, so the amount of yards makes it a check down.
Well, airtime matters, folks.
Airtime matters.
That's why it's an actual stat.
But that's not what a check down is, right? A check down is your safety valve guy, the guy that releases out, right? Could be, most of the time it's a running back in space. I'm missing the idea here in which every one of his throws was to a running back. Did he not hit Deebo Samuel on a short route that Deebo took a nice distance? Did he not have a nice pass over the middle that was negated by Charlie Warner?
No, it was that little
stop
Deebo come back for a handoff. It's a glorified handoff is all that really is, that he gets credit for passing yards because the ball went technically in front of him.
So then do we take the passing yards off of the two tunnel screens that Trey Lance threw to Juwan Jennings? Do those come off the board too?
We're talking about Jimmy right now, aren't we?
I'm aware of that, but based on your argument here, you have to apply that equally across the board. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to throw a challenge flag for you being hypocritical and applying things to certain people and not the other ones. Don't make me pull out the challenge flag this early in the show, Jason.
We haven't talked about...
Don't make me do it. All I'm saying is it's right. We haven't talked about it. Fair point. That is a fair point. Fair point indeed. Look, the only point here I'm trying to make is that while I agree with you, right, that Jimmy is probably going to be the starter going into week 1, you cannot sit here and tell me that he checked the ball down on every single one of his passes.
3 of 3 for 27 yards or whatever it was.
Oh my goodness gracious almighty. Look, efficiency is there. I like the fact that Jimmy was able to push the ball down the field, and if it wasn't for Charlie Warner picking up an offensive pass interference, that drive probably ends in points, if not a field goal, maybe even a touchdown. So
you're making my point then that he should be starting week 1 then.
I told you at the start of this, I agreed with your point, actually. However, the argument that I would make in terms of the starting aspect of this is that the Shannon plan is a real thing, Jason Hill. Mr. JHill, the Shannon plan is real. So while Jimmy may be starting, I think you are going to get a heavy dose of Trey Lance in week 1, as well as just throughout the season.
It's because we're playing the Lions and we'll be up by 40.
It actually has nothing to do with playing with the Lions and has everything to do with this is the plan. Kyle Shanahan wants both of these guys on the field. Trey's strengths are Jimmy's weaknesses. Some of Jimmy's strengths are Trey's weaknesses. Being able to utilize both the things that they do. I mean, whether it's the 2-minute drill, whether it's, intermediate passing, which Trey struggles with at times, they're going to be utilized in tandem. So while Jimmy is the starter on paper, I think you're going to see a heavy dose of both guys throughout the season.
Okay, so if we get 65 snaps against the Lions, what's your breakdown for how many Jimmy's going to play?
I would say the argument is 50-10. You have 50 for Jimmy, you get about 10 for Trey.
That's that's a huge difference. Well, you were talking, I thought you'd go like 45-25 or something in that ballpark over here. The Shanahan plan, all this kind of stuff.
But if the Shannon plan only requires Trey Lance to ball out on 10 plays, does he need more than 10?
I don't know. That's for you to decide. I'm saying no because
it's for me to decide. It's not for Kyle Shanahan to decide.
Yeah, you're the one talking it up over there.
So, Jason, you don't think that Trey Lance is ready to get any snaps in week 1?
If it's a goal line package, a 3rd and short, a 4th and short, where they can use his ability to either get outside and run or fake a read option and then make a pass, absolutely. But there's no need to rush him. There's just not.
I agree.
Let him play a ton in the preseason. Keep Jimmy healthy because we all know he's paper soft and gets hurt all the time. So
this guy, paper soft, he played with the ligament hanging. He was hanging by a thread last year.
We need to keep him healthy because Trey's not ready yet.
What is the rationale for paper soft though? Why paper soft? Why not just
that he's missed?
But they've all been
the actual
they've been traumatic. He's not missing for like a bruise or turf toe. He's missing for a torn ACL.
A big deal. Just ask Jacoski Tart.
Well, ask Juwan Jennings as well. It looks like
Jennings.
It's not
Austin Watkins.
Austin Watkins. Yeah. My apologies. Austin Watkins.
I almost had to throw a flag on you.
I'm glad you clarified me there. Austin Watkins is dealing with the same thing. But this is the point I'm making. There have been guys who have played through injuries like that. This isn't a knee contusion or a thigh contusion that Jimmy's been playing through.
It's a non-contact ACL.
But it's a non-contact ACL is still an ACL, my guy. Right. It's still an ACL injury. The ankle stuff that happened last year was a contact injury.
Right.
Taking a shot, and he was hanging by a thread and still tried to play through it.
No. Let me bring this back into perspective. Jason, when you're saying he's paper soft, don't you actually mean injury prone? Because paper soft would mean the guy wouldn't go out there and gut it out and be tough. Yeah. Where you're saying he's injury prone, which is a different argument.
He's tough as hell, but he gets hurt all the time.
Okay, so I think that's more of a fair point. So
that's my contention there.
Thank you for correcting me, Mr. Referee, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Official, thank you, Mr. Official. Thank you so much. No, but look, I disagree that Trey is only going to be used maybe on like very limited basis in terms of situationals. This is how I kind of felt at the beginning of the year going into it. But as Shanahan has talked and divulged a little bit about what he sees in Trey and what he sees in Jimmy, I think there are going to be situations where you see this guy going out there on 2nd and longs or 1st and longs in situations like that where there's penalties because defenses are going to have to shift your package and what you're doing. If, for example, if what we see throughout preseason with Trey Lance is Trey Lance just taking deep shot after deep shot after deep shot down the field, you're going to tell me that Shanahan wouldn't mind bringing in a situation where you go 4 wideouts, 1 tight end, bringing Trey out there, having a team
highly predictable as to what's coming, though.
Except for one thing, Jason Hill. Except for one thing entirely in its entirety, in which you can motion a guy like Debo, you can motion a guy like Jalen Hurd. It could be a Kyle Juszczyk for all you care, back into the backfield, and then with them having a nickel package or nickel situation out on the field, you run the ball and utilize read option with them having less guys in the box to contain and stack in the box and put Trey in situations where he's potentially one-on-one on 1st and longs, 2nd and longs, things of that nature, where typically it would be a passing situation in which you'd want to pass. You bring Trey in, get everyone thinking pass, bring the personnel group in to force a defense to cover pass, and then go with a creative run scheme.
That could work too. Now, speaking of the run scheme, one of the things that I was a little surprised by and also kind of liked was his unwillingness to actually take off. Like, I actually like the fact that he held the ball, got outside the pocket, and was trying to get the ball downfield. Do you think that he's on a non-running order in the preseason to keep himself healthy, or what then?
It's probably a little both, to be honest with you. It's probably him wanting to show they can throw from the pocket and Shanahan wanting him to protect himself, I would imagine. That would be the smart thing to do.
Because there was definitely a couple times last night where he could have easily gotten 10, 12 yards, but he was looking to get the ball downfield, though, which...
It's totally, definitely not that, right? And totally the fact that, Kyle Shanahan just wants him running the Jimmy offense.
Yeah, could be. Another thing is, you brought up him scrambling or moving outside the pocket, actually not running down the field, but looking down the field to throw. And we have the throw to Brandon Ayuk where Brandon Ayuk drops it, and a lot of people are very upset about the fact that Brandon Ayuk got a drop. And I think that both of you have a different take on this, so I'm curious exactly how it comes out. Huh?
I said, how much you know that we do? That's interesting.
Yeah, I know these things. I'm a referee. I pay attention to things.
He does pay attention.
It's my job.
Accurate. It is his job. It's accurate. And look, since I've deferred right in the first topic, I'll take this one now. I'll start with this.
I'll let you.
The Brandon Ayuk slander is ridiculous. And the Brandon Ayuk slander that's going to come across from the gentleman down there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Look, Brandon Ayuk drops a ball in the preseason, and people want to put that on, Brandon Ayuk, and great. You can, in the sense that it hit Brandon Ayuk in the hands, and he should have caught it. However, I will make the case, an argument in favor of Brandon Ayuk, which is he never should have been put in that place in the first place. He never should have been put in that situation. It's absolutely ridiculous that he was put into a position in which Trey Lance had two open other receivers in that situation. Ross Dwelly sitting across the middle in the zone coverage wide open, and Josh Hockett, who had slipped out and was wide open. And if Trey Lance actually puts the ball to Josh Hockett almost immediately after taking that drop back, Josh Hockett is able to run downfield for about 12, 15 yards, first down, drive continues, instead of putting Brandon Ayuk in a situation coming across the field on basically an in route, in which he has to catch the ball potentially in space and take a shot in the preseason. If keeping these players is healthy, where is the consistency from everybody on this? Because what I don't want is Brandon Ayuk to have to try and make that catch in the preseason, in which Trey Lance led him way too much. He could have put the ball in the pocket right into Brandon Ayuk's chest, right in the numbers. Brandon Ayuk could have caught it and went down to the ground without having to take a shot. He put the ball in front of him. Brandon Ayuk is having to reach with another defender working into him in space, right into his face. That would have been a non-great situation for Brandon Ayuk. He would have taken a shot very early in that game. And in all honesty, personally, I'm kind of glad he dropped the ball because I don't want him taking shots in the preseason. I want this guy healthy for the regular season.
Okay, so point number one, Alex, you played quarterback, right?
It's very spottingly. I was more of a wideout.
Okay, so as a quarterback, if you made that pass, you'd expect your receiver to make that catch, right?
I mean, yes, I expect him to make the catch.
And as a wide receiver, you'd expect yourself to make that catch, right?
Yes, however, you know what else I don't?
Okay,
you know what
good.
else I don't do, Jason? Is since we're going to load the question here and make a review right here, and I'm about to throw a challenge flag. If we're going to load the question here,
it's about to get worse. Don't worry, it's coming.
I also don't tend to judge people's performance based on one preseason game or one scrimmage or one practice. Right? I was actually, if you talk to a lot of my teammates in high school, I was actually notorious for being a guy who occasionally in practice had some drops. You know what I never did? Drop a ball in any sort of game situation. Brandon Ayuk hasn't had really any drop. That's the first time I've seen Brandon Ayuk drop a ball ever.
You're about
I'll take it.
To drop the ball, though.
All right, we'll see.
Right now, because I got you here.
We'll see.
I got you in this one.
Doubt it.
So if we're talking about how Trey misread the play, missed multiple wide receivers, that proves that we shouldn't have him playing a ton yet in the regular season if he's not that set yet on the offense, right?
Oh, so I'm going to have to be consistent here, right? And say that you can't judge a person by one play or one performance in the preseason.
But you specifically made a huge issue of Trey missing two guys that were open.
Correct.
But yet you're talking about how you want to see him playing as much as possible in the regular season.
Did I say as much as possible, Jason, or are you putting words in my mouth and I need to throw a flag on the play? Because that's definitely not what I said at all. I didn't say that at all. I didn't say I want him playing as much as possible. I said Shanahan is going to execute a plan in which Trey is on the field in certain situations, and they're going to eventually get it to a point, right, where he's going to be on the field as much as possible.
This is called backpedaling, folks.
Totally backpedaling. You're right. I'm not making the same argument in the same case here at all whatsoever. Look, the argument you're trying to make, I get it. The problem is it disregards it disregards the fact that Brandon Ayuk was put into a situation in which it was a lose-lose situation. He either doesn't catch the ball or he takes a shot.
Now, to get to my actual points now, Brandon Ayuk is our best wide receiver. Let's not even have that conversation yet.
Well, you guys will probably.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I want to have that conversation.
He absolutely is our best receiver.
He's better than Deebo Samuel, flat out, bar none.
He will be 1,000 yards in the Pro Bowl this year. I'll guarantee you guys that one right now. He stays healthy. He'll be in the Pro Bowl if we're not playing in the Super Bowl.
Well, we're going to be playing the Super Bowl, so he's not going to be in the Pro Bowl.
He's special. Deebo's phenomenal, but Ayuk is just he's just a different cat though. He's going to be big time.
Okay, I don't disagree with you. But I think he's going to be big
time. With that in mind, preseason game or not, catch the ball, man. Like that's what you for the kind of stud talent that you are. That ball was not terribly thrown. It was a pretty accurately thrown ball. Maybe a little too much zip on it. So maybe we'll cut him a little bit of slack. He's still getting used to just that incredibly live arm that Trey has. But still, you got to pull that one in. You just have to make that catch.
I don't think there was
make the catch, make a guy miss, make a play. That's kind of what this offense is about: is getting the ball in space and getting extra yards. So
listen. I don't think it was the zip, man. I think it was the situation. I think it was the fact that he had a guy blanket him from behind. He had a guy in front of him that was collapsing in on him in space. That ball was out in front of him. It wasn't close to his body. He had to fully extend away from his body. It wasn't in a shoulder range, bro. It was outside.
It was not behind him, so it
was extremely out in front of him with a defender closing.
Out
in front of him with a defender closing in space, which has been my argument. He's sitting there going, I got to make a business decision here in the preseason. Am I reaching out for this and laying out for this ball to make Trey look good?
He would pull up his arms though. He didn't pull.
Let the record show Jason put his hands just in front of him to show where the ball was going to be. I just got to make that clear.
Because they did it off screen and we couldn't see it.
Yeah. Just so everyone understands.
Thank goodness for the ref. I gotta say. That.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Another, you guys are making some fair points, and I think it's just however you want to skin it. But there are other contentious points that need to be discussed with the 49ers. One of them is offensive line play. There's a lot that believe that the second team offensive line was absolute trash. Their words, not mine. But how exactly do you guys feel the offensive line play was? And are there any concerns with certain players or even the unit as a whole?
Well, Jason, since I just won, I'll let you have this one. Go right ahead. I want to hear this.
There wasn't the usual massive running alleys that we're accustomed to seeing. That could be because there was no Trent. That could be because there's no Juice. So those could all be contributing factors. But the fact of the matter is, the guys that were there did not open up enough holes for our running backs to explode through. Second point, Trey was sacked 4 times. Was he hanging on the ball too long? Maybe not. But there was a couple times where that pocket got smashed up real fast. And yes, Chris Jones is a phenomenal defensive player. We all saw that in the Super Bowl. He wrecks a lot of guys. But still, the O-line as a group needs to be a little bit better because we have to keep Jimmy upright. Or else, I don't know. It's not good.
Is that Daniel Brunskill slander that I just heard, Ant?
Let me look. Yes, definitely.
That was Daniel Brunskill slander. Are you outside of your mind? Are you outside of your mind?
My mind's right here. No, I'm inside of it still.
Jason, I mean, what? What in the world? Daniel Brunskill gets beat on one play, and that's the play that we're all going to highlight for the rest of the preseason game? One play. One play.
He owns Aaron Donald, but that's...
I'm sorry, did Jones do a whole heck of a lot in terms of the pass rush on Daniel Brunskill other than that one play?
No.
Did I miss something?
No, but...
I mean, I'm sorry, but...
We got to keep our quarterbacks upright, though.
Yeah, but one play isn't the deciding factor in all of this. So
he
one
was
time,
sacked 4 times.
Also, I'm aware of that, but I'm talking about the specific example that you brought up, sir. You decided to highlight Jones, not me. You brought up the Jones example, and the Jones example was on Brunskill.
It was.
Okay, so Brunskill goes down in that situation because Trey Sermon's underneath his feet. For no other reason other than that. Jones got a nice bull rush on, but if Trey Sermon isn't there sitting behind Daniel Brunskill's leg, there is a chance that Daniel Brunskill was able to recover and prevent Jones to getting there as quickly as he did, which may have given Trey Lance a little bit more time.
If, woulda, coulda, shoulda, maybe, potentially.
But we're going to knock Daniel Brunskill for someone else causing the situation that's not Daniel Brunskill. So Daniel Brunskill falling down is Daniel Brunskill's fault, even though someone else contributed to it.
His shoulder on that play.
It's Daniel Brunskill's fault?
It wouldn't matter because the end result is what mattered. The end result was he'd have gotten hurt.
Can I throw the challenge flag?
Yeah, you can.
Because that was a big old fat hypocrite.
I was about to throw a flag on that. Yeah.
How?
I mean, holy cow almighty.
There's the challenge
flag. So let me get this straight, Jason.
This play is now under review.
It's completely under review. Let me get this straight.
He said coulda, woulda, shoulda about Daniel Brunskill not making the block, and then went to a coulda, woulda, shoulda about Trey Lance getting injured.
To prove the point that it's the end result that matters.
You can no longer argue that point that way. That is a definite coulda, woulda, shoulda. That is a contradictory. That is overturned. Alex, you get the remainder of Jason Hill's argument time.
I appreciate that because Jason Hill's argument time was going to essentially center on the fact that you had a couple of guys.
Whoa. I'm about to throw another flag on you. Let's be silent over there.
We had a couple of guys who had some situations where they struggled. And the fact that, you want to look at the sack number as a whole and kibosh the entire O-line for this. Listen, at the end of the day, right, Daniel Brunskill had one bad play. Aaron Banks, who is a rookie in this league, struggled. He had some situations where he didn't play well and didn't perform well, but overall, a lot of that stuff can fall onto communication because there were times where it didn't look like guys knew who they were supposed to be picking up, where blitzes were coming from, and that could fall on Trey to an extent. It also could fall into the fact that you're working with a guy in Brendel who's still learning the system and learning the calls. You're not really truly operating with your backup center, who I think, at least myself believes that would be Daniel Brunskill and not Jake Brendel. Jake Brendel there's a good opportunity. He's not even going to be on this roster with this team. Not to mention the fact that your second team tackle right now is Tom Compton, a guy who just started practicing that position on Thursday, on day 13 of training camp, 2 days before we get into this. So there are some concerns in terms of guys cleaning up some things, but guys have improved. Aaron Banks has improved and gotten better. Jalen Moore,
second-round draft pick. He better.
Yes, he's going to. He's not there yet, obviously. But Jalen Moore on the other side, the left tackle spot, he held down with the first group and he held down with the second group. I liked everything that I saw out of Jalen Moore. There's been some Jalen Moore slander going on, and I hope to God that isn't you, Jason.
I thought of all the new or younger guys, he was by far the best guy. So
all right. I can calm down.
Agreement on face-off. It's appreciated.
Every now and again, right?
But Banksy, man, he's a big cake eater over there. He did not do very good.
Cake eater's a lot, man.
Wow, a Mighty Ducks reference.
On his first ever episode on the show. Well, look at that. You think was he really that bad? I mean, the throw to Charlie Warner, he did a great job of getting in there and making sure that he couldn't get the hands up too much.
Slow though.
At times, yes, but at other times he also looked great in the run game as well.
That was my concern with him on draft night was if he gets his hands on you, then especially in the run game, he'll do pretty good. But his feet aren't exactly ballet material,
They aren't valet material. I mean, I can't argue with that there. I can't even say you're wrong there. But I did think I saw a lot of good things out of him in the run game. I thought he got to second level a couple times pretty well. I thought he secured first level on run stuff pretty well at times. But he does struggle with lateral movement and lateral quickness.
I just think it's a guard version of Mike McGlinchey. Just had me worried.
Is Mike McGlinchey slander now? I got Mike McGlinchey slander.
He's a great run blocker.
He didn't look too bad in the pass last night either.
Well,
I'm sorry, but when Trey went in with the first team O line, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure on Trey Lance, and Trey Lance was able to make some great throws, including that one to Trent Sherfield.
Yes, this is true.
He had about 20,000 years in the pocket.
Was Frank Clark out there though?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure.
No, but they were going against some of that first team defensive line there for the Chiefs. There were a few of those guys out there still at that time.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time for the drive. Time for the drive. So you guys are going to have 1 minute to make an argument, and then it will be determined who has won the drive, and I will make that determination. Now, the drive question is going to be for this time is who is going to be wide receiver 3 going into the season. So Jason is very excited for this. Alex, since you won the coin toss earlier, you can decide who has the ball first for the drive. Would you like to know what you have to do, or would you like to go first?
I'm going to defer that choice and then let Jason run first so I can hear what he has to say and who he's selecting. So that way
you can make your counter.
I can make my counter argument.
I like it. So Jason, you are on the clock, sir.
Good luck trying to counter this one. Anybody who's watched camp has followed Mayoko or us or anybody else who's been at camp and who watched preseason game number 1. Number 3 receiver is Nate Sherfield. It's not even close.
Trent Sherfield.
Trent, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I said Nate.
Yeah, I get it. It's okay. Pick it up. Don't get lost.
Big plays, good route running, great hands, and already has great chemistry with Trey. So hopefully he can get a little more of that with Jimmy as he gets more and more reps when we do go 3 wide. But it's definitely Mr. Sherfield, and it's not close. And you really don't have any other kind of choose. So if I was you, I just would go ahead and concede now.
Ooh. Oh, really, Jason? I should just concede. Cutback crew, you heard him. It's over. It's done. I'm cooked. I'm a cooked goose. It's over.
You might as well be Jalen Hurd.
I might as well be Jalen Hurd, except, hold on a second. The Jalen Hurd slander ended up being inaccurate indeed because we showed up at day 13 and Jalen Hurd balled out. And I hate to break it to you, Jason, but you're so off base here with wide receiver 3. It's not even funny because the reality of the situation is, Jason, and Cutback crew, and 49ers fans in general, there is no wide receiver 3. I hate to break it to you. Ooh. There is none. There's not an official wide receiver 3 for this roster. The wide receiver 3 room is going to be a conglomerate of pretty much everybody that's left. Whether it's Jalen Hurd, whether it's Jawan Jennings, whether it's Mohamed Sanu, whether it's Trent Sherfield. If Travis Benjamin somehow finds a way to make it the roster, I think he's on the outside looking in at the moment. It's going to be a conglomerate of all of these guys. Now, if you want to make the argument that you believe Trent Sherfield is going to be the guy that takes the most amount of snaps and therefore is the de facto wide receiver 3, I say poppycock on that. Because you don't...
What's poppycock mean?
Poppycock meaning a bunch of nonsense. It's a very nice way of not using a curse word and getting demonetized on the channel, which we don't want.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, it's going to be a conglomerate. And I believe at some point in time, it'll be Jalen Hurd that officially takes over that role. But for right now, it's going to be a mixture of a lot of different people. Because while Trent Sherfield has shown that he can extend the big play downfield, what he hasn't shown is that he is as talented or as good in the intermediate routes, okay, as some other people that we have
a 2-minute warning here?
Out there. So listen,
he's coming down to the wire here on this last second thing.
I am, but the point of it that I'm making
too much time, ref. Too much time.
All right, fine. Throw the flag.
The flag on that one, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a flag. We definitely went over the time there. We had a very interesting drive there as Jason Hill had a little fumble in between. He was able to jump on top of the fumble and then proceed. Alex pushed the limits of time, had a very, very good argument. I will let the Cutback crew and the people watching the show decide in the comment section who won the drive, who won the argument.
He agreed with me, so it has to be me, folks. He said that...
He said that.
Can I throw another flag? Can we throw a second challenge flag? I didn't use my second one. My word almighty.
He literally said that Sherfield will probably get the most snaps, so that would mean...
No, he said he called poppycock on him getting the most snaps.
I actually did say poppycock, so that's another flag right there on you. I'll throw that challenge flag out there.
Yeah, there's 1920 right now.
I think he just lost just for that. Thank you, Cutback.
Another flag, but you know what, guys? In face-off, what's exciting is we get to talk about all areas of 49ers football. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't, but we're going to bring it head-to-head, mano-y-mano, face-to-face, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, everyone, for watching the first edition of 49ers Face-Off. There's going to be a lot more to come and a lot more great conversations because I can guarantee you this. No matter who is in the ring, there's going to be some sort of heavy conversation because there are often times that people don't agree, especially in 49ers land. The disagreement is part of the fun as long as you don't take it too seriously. We don't take it too seriously here, and we're excited about the future of the show.
Absolutely. Jason, it was great. First episode, my guy. Some pretty good arguments there, man. I'm at the get cleaned up with my game. You kept me on my toes. I appreciate it.
Yeah, step up the game.
My pleasure.
So, Jason, you can say something to the crowd. They don't know who you are yet, but I'm sure they're going to get to know you and acquainted with you over the time, the episodes that we do.
Just always have your ears open because I'll probably blow you away with some amazing insight, folks.
Amazing or
humbleness is what he's going to blow you away with.
Nothing but humbleness. Yeah. Cutback crew, we hope you enjoyed the first ever edition of 49ers Face Off. We got plenty more where that came from. And until next time, you stay safe.
Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.